Most of the questions we ask in English are standard so-called direct questions. These are the regular questions we ask our friends, family, co-workers, and other people we know. A simple way to make your questions sound more polite in English is to phrase them as indirect questions. So, for example, what time is it becomes, could you tell me what time it is? Where is the closest bank? Can be, would you happen to know where the closest bank is? And is it going to rain today? Is now, do you have any idea if it is going to rain today? If you look at the basic structure of an indirect question, you could first say that the polite part of the sentence is followed by the main question. If you then take a closer look, we actually have a polite introductory phrase, followed by a question word, and then in the second part, what looks like a positive sentence. This second part is no longer formed as a question. There is no inversion that we normally have in direct questions. What time is it is now what time it is. Same goes for auxiliary verbs. If we ask a direct question, what time does the train leave? The answer is, the train leaves at 5. So to pose our indirect question, we will use that same structure we have in the answer. May I ask what time the train leaves? Notice that we don't use do or does. The train leaves. After the polite question, we have the question word and then the statement. Same rules apply to tenses. Why did you tell her that? Becomes, I was wondering why you told her that. See, this one is not even a question. It's an actual statement that sounds like it should be answered. If an auxiliary verb is used for a tense, such as present perfect, we can't just get rid of it because that would affect the structure of the tense itself. But we would have to move it so it's no longer formed like a question. How have you managed to quit smoking? Can you tell me how you have managed to quit smoking? You can also think of it this way. In a standard positive sentence, you have a subject followed by a verb, or by an auxiliary verb. When you ask simple direct questions, you reverse the order of the subject and the verb. For indirect questions, you bring the subject-verb order back to that normal positive structure, the same structure you use to answer those questions. You start your polite sentences with phrases that are already questions. So the second part should not be a question. Remember this rule. Ask only one question. Do not double up on your questions. As you can tell by the answers, in these examples we used yes-no questions. To ask indirect yes-no questions, we use if as our question word. So now we have the introductory phrase, followed by if, and then a positive sentence. Direct, is she going to be late? Indirect, do you know if she's going to be late? Answer, yes, she's going to be late. There are many phrases you can use for your indirect questions. Here are some of the most common ones. Remember that can is usually a little less formal than could, and would is typically more formal than could. Can you tell me? Could you tell me? Would you mind telling me? Do you know? Do you happen to know? Would you happen to know? Do you have any idea? Have you any idea? I was wondering. Can I ask? May I ask? I'd like to know. Is there any chance? Would it be possible? The rule is, be more polite by asking indirect questions.